Okay, now for the next challenge, what we have API7 2023, name as server-side request forgery. Server-side request forgery is one of the common attack which is found in web also, in API also. Okay, what exactly it is? So attackers can easily exploit SSRF by sending crafted request or manipulate the URL which is going in the HTTP request from the vulnerable server, that is our DB API, and attacker will make sure that whatever URL they are entering, it should be controlled by them, so that the vulnerable application in our case it is DB API. Our vulnerable application will interact to the attacker's entered URL, allowing the attacker to identify that yes, the application is sending to the URL. The application is sending the HTTP request to the attacker's controlled domain. In that way, attackers will be able to identify that yes, the application is vulnerable to SSRF attack. Okay. Overall, the technical description of SSRF is quite one-liner. I tried to explain it in a simpler way. So the same thing we have to do with our DB API applications as well. Okay, so let's go back to Chromium. Over here, what we have to do, what it says, DB API is using a function to set secret note for your user through a link or URL. Try to learn more about SSRF and capture the flag. Okay, so a secret note. Now let's check, do we have such functionality? Get note. There is a get note endpoint. What this will gonna do, this will gonna get the I guess the note. Username is user icon 1. Okay, that is correct. What about M13L? Do I have any note? No, so far I don't have any note. Problem. It also says through a link or URL, so I can see that I have a endpoint through which I can add a note with link. Okay. Alright, so this is where I have to enter the URL. What if I simply send this request? There was an error, internal server error. Interesting. What if I go to my box suite, send this request to my repeater, and I will get this error. Okay. What if I change this URL to something like 127.0.0.1 localhost, and then I send this request? I will get the same error. Is the application running properly? Let me check. Yes, the application is running properly. What if I add my port number like this? It says successfully added a note. Okay, okay. I need a flag. Let's say flag.txt. Will I get? Uh, so far, no success. What about localhost? Localhost, still no, not an issue. Now I will create a collaborator just to check whether I'll be able to get any hit in collaborator or not. So first of all, I always prefer to use HTTPS, and okay, it is sending the request over here, and in the collaborator I got the HTTP hit as well as the DNS hit. Okay, now the thing is I need flag. How we can get that flag? Do we have any hint over here? The application. Try to learn more about SSRF and capture the flag. Okay, that is not much hint for us. Okay, so what about HTTP? Normal HTTP. It is sending the request same, and in the collaborator, I will get the response, something like that. Let's say flag.txt. This is what I am interested in. Will I be able to get the flag? No, I cannot get the flag. I think I am missing something. What if I copy this URL and paste it over here like this, send this request again, and I still don't have the flag. Okay, this is note.txt, so instead of flag, note.txt. Okay, okay, 127.0.0.1. There was an error. 3000. What if I try to brute force this port number? Maybe that might be a possibility that internally on XYZ port number a different service is running. I mean, there is a possibility, so let's try to brute force this port value, port number. So from port number 1 to 65,535, I'm gonna brute force this much port. My minimum integer should be 1, and resource pool I'm gonna send at least 100 requests per seconds, and let's start the attack. This will gonna take quite a lot of time. Am I getting any 200 okay so far? Let's wait for this to finish. Once it is done, I'll resume the video. Okay, no problem. Sorry, my bad. It was for payload 3000 only. I thought I got a port number, but so far no. So once it is done, I'll resume. Looks like on port number 8443 I got something, because the status code for port number 8443 returns as 200, and here we go, we got the flag. So the challenge for us was to first identify the SSRF, then utilize that SSRF vulnerability to enumerate the local machine to get the flag. Okay, I will copy this and I will paste it over here, and yes, the challenge is solved.